welcome everyone. Um, I'm really excited for today's conversation. I'm joined by Ben Arreguy. Did I pronounce that correct?
Arreguy, close enough.
Arreguy, the Vice President of Revenue at Hefestus Technologies Ltd. Ben has built an incredible reputation as a forward-thinking sales leader and growth strategist navigating a deeply complex and unpredictable worlds of cannabis tech, robotics, and food automation. So, welcome, Ben,
Thank you. I
to the
appreciate you having me. Glad to be here.
no problem. Why can you share a little bit about your role in your company, your background, and how that all fits into the picture of your company?
Sure. I guess I'll start with my background and kind of tell you how I got led to, or how it led me to this position where I am with Hefestus.
Sure.
Done a handful of things in my professional life. At one point, I had a consulting business that focused on a handful of things, but I'll call it the green industries, cannabis and hemp industries. And through my consulting business, I ended up going full time into cannabis. I found myself in the world of pre-rolls, or what most people know them as joints.
Hmm.
And so I started a little over 10 years ago. I was working with at the time, it was the largest pre-roll co-packer, so a company that made their own products, but also made products for many other brands in California. We were the largest in the world at the time,
Hmm.
which cannabis, you can't cross state lines. So we were the largest in California, but we were the largest company doing that sort of product manufacturing at the time. So through a whole lot of twists and turns, it led me into going deeper into the actual process of making the pre-roll and working for robotics and automation companies that were focused specifically on things either related to pre-rolls or pre-roll adjacent.
Hmm.
And eventually that led me to where I am today with Hefestus. At Hefestus, my title, VP of Revenue, whatever title is good for. Basically, I manage the sales and revenue for our North American division. Our company is based out of Israel. We're just outside of
Hmm.
Tel Aviv. We've been in business for over 30 years now. And as you mentioned, we got our start primarily focusing on packaging automation in the food industry. Also did some pharmaceuticals and some other things, but primarily the food industry. And then about a little over 14 years ago, an Israeli cannabis operator asked us if we could automate the process to make a pre-roll. So that's where this
Hmm.
all started. It wasn't as if we were going out seeking the cannabis industry. It found us, so to speak. Um, so the engineers put on their engineering hats and tried to figure out a way to figure out how you could make a pre-roll automatic, or automate that process. So fast forward to now, well, I guess fast forward to 6 years ago. So a little over 6 years ago, they brought that side of the business to North America. So that was the first time their technology was introduced to the cannabis space in the US. I say North America because we also do business in Canada as well, but they brought
Hmm.
that business to the US, and over the past 6 years, we've evolved that technology. We've made it better. We've grown as a company, and now we are the leading pre-roll automation manufacturer for the cannabis industry in North America. So again, I manage the North American side of the revenue and sales.
Okay, cool. And then this also led you to, you started with the ActiveX, and then now you have a brand new, or you're going to have a brand new by either the end of this year or beginning of next year, a more compact model, that's the Luminex.
Yeah, we just launched that a couple, well, yeah, I guess technically a couple months ago. So the Aura X, as you mentioned, that's our flagship machine. That's what most people know us for. Which the Aura X, it started out as the machine, 14 years ago with a different name, and it's now
Hmm.
evolved into what it is today.
Hmm.
And then, it's a large scale machine. It's a machine geared for large scale operations. Typically somebody who's looking at that piece of equipment, they're making anywhere from 50 to 100,000 pre-rolls a month, but most of them are making well north of that. So again, high production, high volume
Hmm.
operations. Well, not everybody needs that much horsepower for their operations. So we came
Hmm.
out with the Luminex, which it has all the same features, has all the ca same capabilities, can do everything that the Orex can do, just
Hmm.
at a lower, at a smaller, like lower throughput, smaller scale, as you
Hmm.
mentioned, and a smaller footprint. So it's more of a, it's not necessarily entry level into pre-rolls, but it's entry level into automation for pre-rolls. That's kind of the
Okay.
idea behind it. So it's the
Okay.
step before what you would need to go up to the Orex.
Okay. Cool. What major shifts are you seeing in your industry right now?
Man, so this is where it becomes a, I guess, a not direct answer. With cannabis not being federally legal, you see things done more on a state by state level. So depending on a lot of it has to do with how long that state has had legal cannabis.
Hmm.
So some of the older states, Colorado, California, Washington, Oregon,
Hmm.
they've they're not a lot of them aren't doing as well as some of the newer states where they haven't kind of got punched in the gut as a lot of states do when they learn how to try to navigate this crazy industry. So as
Right.
far as trends, a lot of it is going to be state by state again, depending on how long that individual states had I'll say legal cannabis, but more recreational legal cannabis.
Hmm.
Um, but other trends we're seeing just more on a, I guess you could say a national level. You could even say international level. You are seeing companies becoming more sophisticated. Like any other industry that's emerging over time, you learn from other industries, you learn from other
Hmm.
business practices. There's
Hmm.
no reason to necessarily reinvent the wheel. And so, speaking for what we do, manufacturing and automation, you're seeing more of the processes that are done on a day-by-day basis from cannabis operators, not just making pre-rolls, but anything they're doing. You're
Hmm.
seeing more automation. You're seeing more advancement with
Hmm.
technology. Um, you're also seeing an advancement in just how operators conduct themselves. And what I mean by that is, um, we believe eventually the industry is going to go federally legal. At that time,
Hmm.
it'll be regulated by the FDA. Well, now you're going to have to start hearing phrases such as like GMP and ISO certified and all these
Hmm.
things that are acronyms that are government, terms, but
Hmm.
it basically means you have to run your facility. They have to be certain standards,
Hmm.
mainly to do for the health of the people working there, but also to do for the health of the people that are going to be eating or ingesting or using these products. So
Hmm.
you are seeing a shift, even though we're not there yet, you're seeing a shift from companies where they realize, okay, we need to figure this out now rather than wait and have to pivot once the industry goes legal. So it's just becoming a more mature, more sophisticated, professional industry, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah, no, and it sounds like, the newer states that are doing it kind of stood on the backs of the first few ones that you were talking about in Colorado, California, Oregon,
Yep.
um, that you guys did all the heavy lifting, and then, they're coming along with their own. I mean, they're increasing the knowledge and the technology. But as far as the government and getting
Yeah.
this all going, it was really rough in the beginning. So,
Yeah, and,
it.
and the states that are coming along now that are doing it, the ones that are doing it better, I should say,
Hmm.
are the ones that are learning from the other states, right? And like
Hmm.
not making the same mistakes that other ones. So yeah,
Yeah.
um, it's definitely an evolution. Every part of the industry is because it is new-ish.
Hmm.
Everybody's learning, everybody's trying to do better. But yeah.
Cool. What's working well for you right now, and what's been frustrating for you?
Oh, what's working well? Well, so for us, I feel like we've nailed the technological piece that we have here, the
Hmm.
technological component. Can it be improved? Can it get better? Of course, anything can be improved and get better, but I
Hmm.
feel that we've done a very good job of doing that. Um, and what's working well also is just, I guess you could call it the validation from the industry, the fact that people are buying our machines.
Hmm.
And, most of our business these days are done from referral. So it's
Hmm.
great when somebody's telling somebody else, hey, go buy this machine. It's not me, the
Hmm.
guy wearing the Hefestus shirt, telling you should buy it. It's somebody who's actually using it and they can speak operator to operator and have those conversations. Those are going to be more
Right.
impactful than anything I can say as a guy that, gets paid by the company to represent them. So
Right.
that's been great. Just again, just seeing the people adopt our technology and knowing that it's working for them, and then
Hmm.
seeing the success of those brands,
Hmm.
that's working well. What is not working well for us? I would say on a general level, just from an industry level, this industry is so up and down. There's so many highs and lows. It's very difficult for companies, even companies that are well run, to budget and forecast and have cash on hand,
Hmm.
because this industry doesn't have access to traditional banking.
Hmm.
Cash is king, and so it's
Hmm.
very difficult to. It's more difficult to find financing that doesn't have an outrageous interest rate attached to it. So, from that aspect, yeah, it's difficult for us. It's difficult for any cannabis operator just to manage the money side of things
Hmm.
because we're not having access to capital, because we can't do normal banking, because things are taxed at such a high rate. That's difficult. For us on a personal level, when I say personal, I mean the Hefestus company level.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so I mentioned our manufacturing and our headquarters are in Tel Aviv, or out
Hmm.
just outside of Tel Aviv, and we're over here doing business in the U.S. That inherently brings challenges.
Hmm.
Working in different time zones,
Hmm.
language barriers, cultural differences, just
Hmm.
things that we're working through that um, it's just another added layer of stuff that we have to
Hmm.
navigate. It makes it where for us as a company, communication has to be, we have to be extremely hyper sensitive and critical about overly communicating, I guess you could say it.
Hmm.
Um, but even when you do that, there's just challenges with logistics and things being on one side of the world and us being on another. But
Right.
nothing that we're not used to, nothing that we haven't, obviously this is how we've been operating as a company, and so we get
Right.
better at it. We keep improving on it, but yeah, it adds another layer there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure different countries have different rules too,
Sure.
also. So I've seen in some of your stuff you talk about operating with a family mindset at Hephaestus.
Yep.
When a facility's line goes down and they are losing thousands
Hmm.
by per on the hour,
Yep.
how does that family philosophy translate practically into your SLAs and your, which is service level agreement and technical support response time?
That's a great question. I appreciate you bringing that up because our customer support, our response time, how we handle those type of situations, that's very important to us. We take a lot of pride in how we do that.
Hmm.
Our machines are great. They're not perfect. There's going to be a time when they go down.
Hmm.
And as you mentioned, every minute that machine's down, that company's losing money. So
Yep.
when it comes to the family mindset, our company is a family company. We're a private company. The father, Yehuda Yomei, he's the
Hmm.
guy that started this. He's the engineer. He's the brains behind this whole thing, 30 plus years ago.
Hmm.
And now his son, Shahar, or one of his sons, Shahar, he's our CEO. So he's the guy running the show from Israel. He's over here quite a bit. And then one of his younger brothers, Yair. Yair is now our COO who lives here in the US permanently. He's in Las
Oh.
Vegas,
Hmm.
manage that side of things. So that's where the whole family dynamic, it truly is a family-run company.
Hmm.
Um, for us as employees or colleagues of these people,
Hmm.
they treat us like family. And,
Hmm.
sometimes being treated like family may not be a positive thing, but for us, we get the good part of being treated like a family.
Good.
They first and foremost look at us as individuals and people and not as a worker or an employee. So that
Hmm.
mindset, that translates to when we bring on a client. So when we bring on a client, for us, it's not, hey, we sold you a machine, good luck, we'll catch you later.
Hmm.
For us, we look at it as a vendor client partnership.
Hmm.
Um, if they're not successful, we're not successful. So it's in our best interest to make sure that they're running, they're happy, everything's going well. Getting back to your question, so if something happens with a machine, right now we have a handful of ways that we handle customer support, but on the back of every machine, we have the phone number of the technician who installed that machine. So that
Mm.
company has direct access to that person. I won't say 24/7 because, our technicians have to sleep.
Right.
However, we have technicians spread across the US in different time zones. So
Hmm.
generally, somebody is available as early as 6 a.m. Eastern till call it 10 p.m. Pacific. So
Hmm.
that's quite a big range of availability. We
Mm-hmm.
also have English speaking technicians in Israel. So if somebody, for whatever reason, is running a shift at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday, well,
Mm-hmm.
they can get a hold of somebody. But again, we understand if you're losing money, that's not good for anybody. So
Mm-hmm.
call us. We'll see what we can do to help you out. We have the ability to remote into the machine. Our machines are hooked up to Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
We can remote into them, take a look for ourselves, and see what's going on. I would say, most times if there's an issue with the machine, usually it's operator error, especially early on when they're becoming familiar with our technology. So if that's the
Mm-hmm.
case, we just figure out, okay, what's going on? Here's
Mm-hmm.
what you do. Get back on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Software issues happen.
Mm-hmm.
Again, usually it's something we've seen before, so we can push a fix over the internet and get them back up,
Mm-hmm.
up and running quick sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say there's a bad part. Well, we supply the client with a spare part kit, so they have parts there. If it's
Oh,
not
wow.
one they have on hand,
Mm-hmm.
we can overnight it from our facility in Las Vegas. Generally, most fixes are something that we can walk their operator through the next day and get them back on their feet. And the rare occasion that we can't figure out what's going on remotely and we have to come to your facility, that literally happens maybe 2 times a quarter between all over 100 clients we have and 250
Mm-hmm.
machines installed. Very rare,
Mm-hmm.
but if it does happen, that's on us. We're flying to your facility. We're going to be on a plane within 48 hours of knowing that there's an issue we have to see in person. We're going to come out there. We're not going to leave until we fix it. And again, we're bearing that cost. We're not asking you to pay for it because
Mm-hmm.
it's our machine. We need to take care of it. So,
All right.
um, a lot of other companies don't have as robust or as aggressive of a customer
Mm-hmm.
support plan.
All
For
right.
us, that's our customers are our lifeline. We need to make sure they're happy and running. So that's how we handle that.
Mm-hmm. Do you handle the initial training when you install the machine? So are you there for like a couple weeks or whatever,
Yeah.
training the staff or whoever the person is going to
Yeah.
do it? Okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. So yeah, part of the when you purchase a machine, what's included is our technician's going to come on site Monday through Friday to do that initial training. Well, they set up the machine, which only takes about a half a day, but the rest of the time they're training your operators on, everything to do with the machine, general operation, maintenance, cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
troubleshooting, etc. Um, but also once we're done with that training, of course, you can call us if you have questions. But our technicians are on the move all the time, going out and installing new equipment, doing upgrades, whatever they're doing. But when they're in an area, let's say like we have a client in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Well, when our technician goes out there, they're going to go and they're going to take care of that client. But we have within an hour radius of Atlantic City, we have another 5 or 6 clients. So on that
Mm-hmm.
same trip, they'll pop into those facilities just to say hi, just to have a look, just to see what's going
Mm-hmm.
on, even if they don't need to stop by there. So we're generally touching our clients, we're generally visiting our clients' facilities, I would say at least 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a year, even if they don't necessarily need us to be there. So again, just kind of back to mentality. Want to make sure that everything's going well with all of our clients.
Mm-hmm. And you guys handle all the maintenance, or is that something
Yep.
that so you just you
Yep.
do all the maintenance
Everything's,
and stuff?
yeah, we handle all of that. Everything's done in-house. Some of our operators that have been with the machine for quite a long time, if there's basic maintenance, they all become pros at it at some
Mm-hmm.
point. But yeah, anything above what an operator can't handle, it's all done in-house by us.
Okay, cool. So, where do you want to be? Where does Hephaestus want to be 6 to 12 months from now?
6 to 12 months from now. So yeah, 6 to 12 months from now, there's going to be some big changes for us. So on the cannabis space, we're I don't know if you and I talked about this previously when we were chatting, but right now we have the front end of the pre-roll process already dialed in.
Mm-hmm.
You take your flower, as they call it, that comes off the plant. We
Mm-hmm.
have the machine that mills it, that turns it into the particulate size that you need to put inside a pre-roll. We have the
Mm-hmm.
machine that makes a pre-roll. Well, the final end of that is a machine that takes a pre-roll, put it in a package, seals a package, and now you're done.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that machine, I'll call it 95% of the way there. We already have a couple systems installed that when you first install a system, you learn a lot. So we're
Mm-hmm.
installing them at companies that we're also kind of using as an R&D partner. But that machine should be finalized, I would say, in the next maybe 3 to 4 months. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a big step for us because now we're going to have the full, call it A to Z line, the start to finish
Mm-hmm.
line of making a pre-roll and then packaging a pre-roll. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
big step for us.
Mm-hmm.
But on the food side, we haven't brought the food side of the business to North America, and we plan to do that in the next 6 to 12 months. We're already planning, we're already making steps, we're already doing things, but to
Mm-hmm.
truly bring it over and launch that side of it,
Mm-hmm.
we're hoping to do that by maybe Q4, if not by Q1 of 27. So that's going to be a major step for us because that's been the
Mm-hmm.
core business, primarily focused in Israel and surrounding areas and also
Mm-hmm.
the EU.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're bringing that over here. So yeah, that's going to be a big step for us. Big,
Good.
exciting step.
Good. So if you had a magic wand, this will be the last question, and you can fix anything that's holding you back or slowing you down within your company, what would that one thing be?
Oh man, what is slowing down our company? Honestly, it comes back to money. Like
Mm-hmm.
if not necessarily us having access to capital, but if our clients had more access to capital and
Mm-hmm.
they could run their business like a normal business, it would open up a lot of doors.
Right.
Um, right now, we're fortunate that we've been in Israel for 30 years running this business, so
Mm-hmm.
we have strong relationship with Israeli banks.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a lot lower cost of capital and more access to capital than most companies here do in America.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, we can do a lot of in-house financing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there comes a point where we can't in-house finance every single deal we do,
Right.
although we do quite a bit of it.
Right.
So yeah, just if our clients had more access to capital at a reasonable cost,
Mm-hmm.
that would change a lot of things for us.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my
Okay.
magic wand right there.
And so when you say in-house, you guys finance companies for your machines and stuff,
We do.
credit and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Israeli banks you deal with mostly, is that who you mostly deal with?
Yeah.
Rather than because the banks here are, they're not gonna touch you. So,
Yeah, I mean, we do have we have banks here in the States that we work with,
hmm
just to do normal transaction type things and credit unions. But
hmm
for borrowing, when you're talking, so our Aura X, that's a $250,000 machine.
hmm
So no, that's a fairly sizable investment.
hmm
When you're selling, double figures of those a month, when
hmm
you're financing a lot of those, that becomes a big number pretty quick. So,
Oh yeah.
well, yeah. So again, we're fortunate to have the access to the Israeli capital. Yeah, here we obviously bank with banks here in America. We have to do our payroll and there's just normal business things that we're doing,
hmm
but we can't do that part of the business with
Right.
the banks we work with here in the States.
Right. Right. Okay. That's all the questions that I have. And, I thank you for your time
Absolutely.
and thank you for all your insight. I think it'll help another company to see, how you deal with challenges and bumps in the road and everything like
Sure.
that. So, and you do it very well. I mean, that was very, uh, easy to understand,
I appreciate that.
great. So I thank you. And yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Had a good
All right.
time.
You too.